On this episode of the Video Game Tango Podcast, we talk about more Activision Blizzard accusations and the shitheels they employ. Then Riot is paying out for their shitheeliness. Titanfall 2 gets some love. No one is getting a graphics card for another long while. And we pour one out for our homie, John Madden. Then after the break, we will deep dive into the characters we want as our fathers and the powers they leave us.
This is a news flash from Nick. According to AI, you should not touch your eyes more than twice a week.
Hi, I'm Josh, and when a blowhole reaches its maximum dilation, it's considered goat seed.
My name's Russ, and let me rate your blowhole fellatio.
And before we get started, we've got a quick announcement. We're taking a couple weeks off in January. You'll have us next week for the live stream on January 5th and the recorded podcast on January 7th. But there will be no live podcast on January 12th or the 19th and no recorded podcast on January 14th and the 21st. There will still be some streams and YouTube content coming your way, but we are taking a couple weeks off to revamp the video portion of the podcast in particular. With that said, my name's Andy. Welcome to the Video Game Tango Podcast. Josh, you're bringing us some Blizzard news.
Yeah, no, I found some today.
Good job.
Fuck you, Bobby.
Indeed, in a general sense, but this is actually a longtime dev that was recently fired. A lovely, not at all gent by the name of Jeff Frazier. So this dirtbag leaked sensitive employee information. He outed trans coworkers.
What a brilliant man.
Yeah, oh no, he's great. But I think the best piece that he did was rant and raved in every disgusting, toxic way on far-right Discord chats, which are just awful. They're awful. But because right-wingers get to play video games too, which they get to continue being shitty, and that's kind of where I ended the look at this. There's a lawsuit that's going on against him, of course, as there should be, against a slug of a person that he is. But that's kind of where I stopped looking into it with these Discord chats. I had to shower and make myself presentable for y'all. And I think Andy had some more stuff on some actual logs from the Discord.
Yeah, so not all of them, but there were some screenshots taken of some of the other employees were in this Discord group, and they didn't have the same feelings he did towards other employees and some of his ideology, and they leaked some of his Discord transcripts. So I can agree with this first portion, and because fuck you, Blizzard. So he says, and he's talking about Blizzard's kind of bonus and incentive programs for staying, because why would you? But he says, so the fuckers go, okay, to convince people to stay, here's $5,000 each, but payable in fucking March 2024. Then the idiots go buy the stock at the worst possible price, $99, when the next day it's $90, and immediately lose $700. So they're like, okay, now you get $4,300 due in March 2024. Then the stupid fuckers act like they're doing you some favor. Wow, you're the owner of a company. I'd rather go somewhere else, make $30K more, and buy $30K of a company that isn't assholes. Ha ha ha. He says some things about they're worse than EA now. He's working on his resume. And then he says,
that tracked.
I think they know I didn't vaccine and are conservative. So the 3 libtard bosses are trying to push me out. All the interns are women too. It's so dumb. At least one has giant tits. She has vampire teeth though.
What the fuck? 2
indents/holes on either side. Not sure what that's about, but big tits. She talks about her partner too. Probably is lesbian. Yeah, and he just goes on to remark that a lot of the messaging that they put out is really stupid. Talking about Juneteenth and etc. But yeah.
Who leaked these Discord chats? Because I imagine
that's anonymous so far. That's the only reason that there's that's the only reason that there could be any doubt that these kinds of things were said.
You figure with a lawsuit going on, his lawyer would not want that
right
out in the public. But
it was I saw a Gonzalez also she's no longer with the company. She now heads up pre-ABK or an ABK something. I can't remember.
Is this the one with the vampire teeth?
No, but you're right. She did share some of this, and but it does. She is not the only source so far in this. There are a lot of people coming forward with his rants and raves that he's been talking about on Discord.
Well, like what I find most disturbing is that most people are like, "Oh yeah, that's decades old behavior. He's always been that way."
Yeah,
and he's been there for 23 years or something like that. And it's like, this toxic piece of shit has just been there for 23 years. And
who's going to tell him no? He's a higher up at Blizzard.
So yeah, that pretty much, that's the crux of the story. Is, you know, there's this one guy, he's an asshole, but it does kind of go to show that this isn't a work environment that's been experiencing this, because he is not the only one of his coworkers in this Discord channel saying these kinds of things. Now, of course, he's being pointed out as kind of the most toxic of the bunch. But this is a platform in which you have a bunch of people that are agreeing with one another and sharing similar thoughts.
He felt secure enough to share that shit.
Right.
I mean,
I'm sure the clever ones will find a way to hide their tracks and weasel away to whatever dank corner they live in.
Yeah. So, along the same lines, Riot settled their discrimination lawsuit.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Big money.
As of recording yesterday, they settled their discrimination lawsuit for $100 million.
And what was this about?
This is the discrimination lawsuit from 2018, where a lot of the female employees were coming out as feeling discriminated against, being paid less. Same kind of toxic work environment. At least they weren't as transparent with the goings on in the company. They left it kind of vague. So whereas Blizzard, we hear about the cube crawls, the Cosby room and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. There wasn't as much of that here, but essentially kind of getting the same treatment. Undervalued, underpaid, devalued in the workplace. So the victims of the lawsuit, they're getting divided $80 million. Good for them. Another $20 million is going to their legal fees. So fortunately, it looks like they're not having to pay the legal fees for the class action.
I would hope not.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times that does happen, where they don't do any kind of split, and just the full pot goes to all the people that are looking for restitution, and then the legal fees come out of their share. Mm-hmm. In this case, it looks like they were two separate settlements. So $80 million towards the victims, $20 million towards the legal fees.
Okay,
so,
good.
It only took them 2 years. Hopefully, this was also a lawsuit done by the DFEH. The same people that are going against Activision Blizzard at the moment. So,
good sign.
Yeah, it looks like they're making moves. So hopefully we'll be seeing this in Blizzard as well, and potentially Bungie now.
Of course.
Yeah, there's women coming forward from Bungie that are saying that they're working in a similar kind of work environment. So
I'm sure it's like that in all the old school companies at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does seem to be kind of the status quo for game companies at the moment.
It's so bizarre to see this happening in that market, and not because I'm surprised by human behavior, but like you associate tech markets and video game markets and stuff specifically with being like modern and future looking. So to have them be plagued by such an archaic problem.
I think it just boils down to higher up job positions attract fucked up people. You have to be a certain way to hack it in that cutthroat world.
There is probably a lot to be said about upper management inside of a big corporation.
It really doesn't matter what market they're in. You're going to attract the sociopaths and the people with low empathy and the people who are out there to step on each other to make a dime,
So I agree. You would assume the more intelligent and what would seem like maybe even like a left-leaning
I'm sure
institution,
that's the case in like middle management and below.
Sure.
I just think when it comes to the higher ups,
but it's not. I mean, even like look at the general gaming milieu. there's a lot of the red-pilled motherfuckers that are really loud in the space. Like, if you go into a Twitch chat that is specifically, more left-leaning, you'll get a lot of people that are just trying to fucking crash chat, jumping in with their alternative viewpoints, and that kind of thing. There's a lot of toxicity in gaming, and it comes from a lot of these red-pilled motherfuckers.
I would love to know like an actual statistic of people that
It's hard because they're so loud.
Yeah.
They're loud and
Vocal
trolling
minority.
is like a thing that is rampant as well. So
Yeah.
like how much are these beliefs even
Right.
truly believed? You know?
I mean, it doesn't matter if they're like if it's like a fact or if it's all about owning. Like he said, the libtard. He actually used the fucking phrase, and it's all about owning the libtards out there.
It's all about owning libs.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people that don't take a hard stance in any of their politics. They probably are like, it's not even really on their radar. They just, they regurgitate the loudest source. So I think there's certainly a lot of that, but that shit, I mean, it fucking runs rampant online from people you wouldn't expect it to. In lighter news though, and to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about on Titanfall 2's multiplayer servers.
Oh, I read about this too.
Yeah, so a user-created mod called North Star promises to give EA's long-suffering shooter a new lease on life. So upon use of this mod, you can create a Titanfall 2 server, and you can attach it to Steam.
Servers, yep.
Yeah. Now, you have to have the specific IP. As say you wanted to join a specific server, you would have to have the IP of the server in order to join. But it's looking like we're getting third-party enabled, user-created servers for Titanfall 2.
That would cut down on some of that cheating.
Has there been a response from EA?
There hasn't been a response from EA yet.
If they try to quash this, I'm going to pink side.
I mean, in all likelihood, they probably will, right? I mean, I don't put it past them.
Wow, what a
because
visual.
they're probably going to be chasing patents. This is our tech kind of thing.
It would not cut down on cheating.
Oh, okay.
You're putting the control of the servers directly in the player's hands. So the security and standard play of the server is going to be at.
It's going to cut down on cheating in the sense that the games are private.
Yeah.
So you're only giving out the IP to the people that you want to play.
Yeah, because in order to join somebody's game, they have to give you their IP.
Yeah.
Or at least the IP that it's being hosted from. It's not going to be
the quick, full, giant open lobbies like we had, but at the very least, if you have like a trusted Discord of people to play with,
cool. Yeah, it could very well potentially cut down on cheating that's happening. Of course, there's always going to be people that are trying to jump on and, fuck around. But as long as you're only inviting trusted friends or trusted adjacent friends, then you should be fine. So that's good news. And, we'll see how it goes. So far, there are people playing on these private servers. Apparently, they're running fine.
Cool.
So that's awesome.
So the issue they're having before was they shut down all the Titanfall servers.
They're getting DDoSed.
Yeah.
Okay.
The multiplayer got, DDoSed to the ground, and EA never really resolved it.
Yeah, they were unable to fix the issue or
rolled
unwilling.
over and let their game die.
Yep.
I saw like over the last couple of days they thought fucking Steam was getting blacklisted in China for
I was trying to find a
full
resolution of that. What happened there?
Yeah, so
they got DDoSed.
They got DDoSed.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Christmas Day. It was just a DDoS attack
Christmas
on Steam.
Day miracle.
Which Christmas Day or holiday event or sale event DDoSes against Steam are not uncommon. So usually they're able to handle their shit, but it doesn't seem like they were able to handle their shit in China. So of course China thought that Steam had been banned recently, which
Someone needs to find this DDoS guy and tell him to knock it off.
Yeah, some bastard named DDoS.
He's always doing something fucked up.
I saw some fun Fortnite news. Fortnite was like, oh, shit, the matchmaking's fucked. We have to shut down all the servers. We have no time frame for when they'll be back up. And then like an hour and a half later, they're like, never mind, it's great. We're not going to talk about it. Here you go. Everything
Jim
is fine.
accidentally turned the servers off with his toe when he was walking
Damn it, Jim.
past the switch.
Jim.
I'm a server custodian,
It's
not a
like,
scientist.
Doom. oh, hey, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think would it be good or bad for like everybody else
Humanity?
if they blacklisted Steam in China?
I mean, ramifications. Like, so Steam loses a bunch of money.
Sure.
Some games are not allowed to be on Steam or modified because they're available in China. Like Rainbow Six Siege is a big one. Adam and I have talked about it. It has to have a bunch of modifications. I don't know how it would affect us as American end users.
In games with microtransactions and grindable in-game currency, it could help. I mean, if you're going to talk botting, it could reduce botting in games where that's applicable.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Other than that, I don't really see any other direct benefits.
A lot less glut of shitty Asian idle MMO war against the Raid Legends clicker game.
I mean, those have to be popular here.
Probably not.
They wouldn't market them to us, right?
Well,
I'm thinking backwards. I was thinking because they put them on our Steam.
They put them on
We're
our
talking
Steam.
about it being banned in China.
Yeah, so the Chinese wouldn't be able to play games on Steam.
Yeah.
Now that could cut down on these fucking 10 for $1 type bullshit games, but probably not.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if we'd notice anything really different if it got banned in China, because already typically servers are regional.
Yeah,
and it's rare that you're playing with people on different servers.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it really cut down on any sort of cheating on a lot of aspects because, I mean, first of all, if you're going to be cheating in a game, you probably know ways that would help you get around.
If there's anything that botters, spammers, and cheaters are, it's resourceful. They will find a way to get around whatever hurdle is put in front of them.
And there's also several other, India and Russia are notorious as well for botting.
Eastern Europe, too.
Yeah.
I said Russia, but I guess it's really just Eastern Europe.
Make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this a while back? The guy who he carries people through League of Legends, MMR.
No.
He dropped out of doctor school to do it because he makes more money.
No, I hadn't heard
He has
this.
to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. But he just duos with people to get their MMR up in League, and he makes a shit ton of money. And he's in Belarus or somewhere right over there next to Russia.
No,
I mean, it's fucking exhausting, and I hate it, but I make so much goddamn money.
No, I personally know people that make their entire living off of World of Warcraft. So, and that's grinding people up in arenas or,
I love grinding on people in arenas.
Damn straight. Yeah. Or running people. There are raid groups that are dedicated. They have 20
I'm sorry.
to grinding.
You've heard of water sports. Now we have blood sports.
But there are entire raid groups where they have
terrible.
Multiple tunes, so they can be running mythic raids all day.
Just multi-boxing it, or they're just running. They're running through different tunes. Okay.
They're running through different tunes, so they can boost other players. Yeah. For real life transactions, usually.
What a life.
Yowza.
That sounds fucking miserable, dude.
Grinding professionally.
Jesus. Dude, just imagine. I loved doing the same raid every week, 7 days a week.
To do it, right?
But I did it on one character.
Yeah.
At max, it was 2.
Yeah.
And that did definitely get a little grindy after a little while.
And the thing is, you get so in tune with the raid that and if anybody fucked up, you'd get irrationally angry. Because over time you'd be like, how's anyone fucking this up? I do this 500 times a week.
Not necessarily. These guys just get so good at it that even the smallest mistakes are funny at that point. Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, these people are so good at the content at this point that they really don't have to try. So most of the time they actually ask the players not to participate in fights. So they will have them die to the earliest mechanics they can in the game, so they don't fuck up mechanics for the actual players. These boosts are pretty common. Mostly they're done for gold, especially the ones that are done on Twitch and that kind of thing. But
you know what that is? That's fucking cyberpunk as hell. Right? Yeah. You're running in-game raid things to make real life money so someone can be qualified in-game. It's like a badge of honor or to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
running people so they can get achievements and titles.
It's so messed up.
Yeah. And people will pay thousands of dollars
Oh,
for
yeah, they
reserve
will.
loot and stuff. Like
I was blown
many
away
thousands
reading about it.
Yeah.
You know, how much money this guy was making. But
Yeah, it's wild, man.
League is serious business. It's not
Yeah.
going away anytime soon.
No, it's not.
But speaking of Cyberpunk, do we have time for a little minor rant about the Ascent?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to pick up a game because I had no other video game news to bring this week, and I pulled the trigger on Ascent. Short story. Starts off really strong, and then it sucks hard, and then it becomes okay, but frustrating.
How much did you play?
I have played probably about 15 hours now so far.
Good chunk.
I cannot overstate how aesthetically and visually pleasing this game is. The atmosphere and the environment and the art direction and the greebling on the walls and the trash on the streets and everything about that part of the game should win Game of the Year for that. Like, it's visually stunning as all hell. The sound design is also great. The sounds of it's so good that you notice it. Like, you'll get a new gun and you shoot somebody and I'm going, oh, just out loud because the gun sounds so fucking great. And I'm playing through it, and you start down in the deep stink, which is like the sewers of this arcology, and arcology being a self-contained skyscraper where hundreds of thousands of people live their whole lives in, and you're an indentured servitude worker, right? Standard cyberpunk stuff. This is very standard cyberpunk setting, and it's really great, and I'm really liking it. And then I come to the meat of the game, which is they've got this vague overworld system. And, they've got the upgrades and different weapons and all that. And it's so ramshackle and seemingly rushed and thrown together that it feels like they made 100% of the art and visuals and kind of game and level design and sound, and they made everything else in 3 days. And it's a shame. I really liked the game at first, but just to start with one problem, the game world's massive, and it's awesome because it feels like you're in this massive arcology, and it's very, very, very vertical game. You'll see something way off in the distance up in the sky, and you'll get up there. And like, there's been very few times I've seen something that was just like in a skybox. You can actually move around this entire arcology, and it's so cool. But there's nothing to do. There's little chests you can break for ammo or money, and every once in a while you find a chest that might have like a piece of armor in it. Some of the random people walking by, of which there's hundreds, it's this packed, cyberpunk city, will say lines randomly, or you could talk to them and they'll repeat the same 3 lines. And then so far there's been like 3 characters in the game in 15 hours that have had any meaningful dialogue. So, and that's probably accounted for maybe an hour total time of play. And the other is just running from place to place, like some points running for 4, 5, 6 minutes at a time to get somewhere, because I didn't yet unlock the taxi service, or the metro was too far away, or I got sidetracked on like a side quest. And then like the game kind of levels with you. Enemies kind of sometimes are your level in areas when you were lower, and it's really kind of a crapshoot whether you're going to fight them and they're just bullet sponges. And there's all these just little shitty, like almost like amateur kind of little level dev stuff. It's so frustrating because the basis of the game is fantastic. And when I get past all the running and boring side quests and trying to find what I need to do, get into gunfights, it's great for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And it looks cool and it sounds cool. And then like the game will glitch out a little bit, or I'll have to reload a save or something.
So are if you just wanted to run like main storyline quests, does the game not allow you to like progress?
You can completely skip the side quest stuff. The problem is like you start running into enemies, and if you want yet another problem, your weapons can be upgraded. The weapons are not random, so you have like the P1 personal protection pistols, like the first one you get, and you can upgrade that MK1 through whatever, and all of your P1 personal protection pistols will keep that upgrade. So if for some reason, I guess you sold it, you could buy another one. It would still be upgraded, but it's like a 10% bonus, right? Okay. And you get better weapons pretty quickly, but the upgrade resources you get are semi non-random. They're like placed throughout the world. And I got about 5 hours in, and enemies were starting to be way too much of a bullet sponge. I'm talking like more than one clip to kill one enemy, and it was getting me killed. So I dumped all my resources into one basic assault rifle, and it carried me for like 3 hours. And now, again, I'm in that same spot, but all the resources I collected up until that point, I spent them all on that one gun, and I'm not even quite back there yet again. Yet I have like 12 guns, and I don't know how many more of these I'm going to get. Like I don't really know how far I am into the game. So you have that like nervousness about spending these resources because they're pretty rare. And it's like, am I just going to dump all these into a gun, and then in 3 more hours I'm going to be right back in the same spot again?
Yeah.
And you'll be running through an area fighting level 6 dudes, and you're like level 5, and then they're level 4, and then you round a corner and there's level 23 dudes there, and you don't know it until you start shooting them and their level pops up. And then one dude with a pistol just wings you and you die. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going that direction, right? And yeah, so it's really frustrating. I'm pretty much just playing at this point because I spent the money on it and I kind of want to finish it. And it's not irritating enough that I'm going to put it down yet. What little gameplay or what little dialogue and lore and story they're doing is okay enough. The voice acting is pretty decent. Some of the characters are kind of funny, but there's so little of it. You know, it's like I'll just be running around. Okay, do this boring side quest, fetch quest, and then some fun gameplay, and okay, a little bit of story, and then okay, back to doing nothing for 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah, well, that's disappointing because at first glance, the game does look gorgeous, and that's one of the first things that caught my eye.
Yeah, I like if you're an artist or if you like the cyberpunk aesthetic, it's almost worth playing. I love the atmosphere of that game so much. I sent some links in Discord just to show you some pictures. We could look at them if we want. Yeah. Without animation doesn't do it justice because it has this isometric angle, but sometimes you'll be running down a hallway and it'll cut to a side scroller. So like you're looking at your character from the side and you're fighting guys from the side. And then it'll jump back to overhead, or like when you walk past a big open area with like a tower, it'll zoom in on it, your character be in the bottom left. So it's pretty neat in that regard. They have giant spinning AI computers and plenty of good cyberpunk humor. But yeah, that's about it. It's like, I was trying to think of a good analogy. It's like if you were going to go into a brand new restaurant and the opening waiting area was really cool and they had good music playing, and there's a 5-course feast laid out in front of you, and you start eating it, and it's all tofu. And you're like, well, it looks really pretty. You've made this tofu look like a chicken and buttered beans and a pie. And then you're like, okay, I can get through that. And they're like, well, we're going to bring you dessert. And you're like, okay, I guess. And then the dessert looks great. But then, yeah, it's just bland. And
you were promised chicken.
Yeah. The robot design is really cool, and they've got like lore entries for all the stuff. So I stopped like maybe an hour into the game to read all the lore entries to get caught up on the world. And there's some cool ideas in there.
Are these all pre-rendered backgrounds?
No, this is all in game.
Okay.
Most of the cutscenes are in game. I don't think I've actually seen an out of game cutscene yet.
I ask because your character sticks out like a sore thumb.
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on what you're wearing.
Yeah.
But you know, like in the top right of this image, you can just kind of see the detail in the griminess of this particular area. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you go from area to area and they look pretty different. You know, it's kind of hard to do that in a cyberpunk setting. But like all these areas, you go to all those multiple levels, and you'll be walking over a bridge like right here, and you're like, oh, that's a cool background. But no, that's like a place you can go. But there's fuck all to do over there, right? You know, the map looks amazing. It's this really cool like vector style map. It's horrible. It's next to useless because of how aesthetically desaturized and low poly it is. Mm-hmm. I can't make heads or tails of it. And you have a compass, but you're in this multi-level vertical map. What good is a 2D compass, you know, for trying to, you go to the gun store and you're like, oh, I found it. I'm like, oh no, it's 3 levels below. And I got to find a fucking elevator. Where's the elevator, you know? And
this screenshot here,
it looks like Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, it looks like Midgard.
So much of this game looks like Midgard. Yeah. And I love that, especially like the inner upper ring part of the cities.
Yeah, honestly, this is what I imagine Midgard to look like. That's not what they gave us, but, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, when this is moving and you're seeing it in real time with all, you know, you're hearing every little clank of that little robot with the red lights buzzing and flickering, and the people are arguing below you, and you can hear a guy hawking his wares over here. It sounds amazing. It's like, but it's all just liminal, this liminal space of, oh, this is so cool, but there's nothing to do. Come on. And I was sad to find that people are still having multiplayer issues. A whole cornucopia of them. It seems to be there's a unique multiplayer issue for every player, and they're already putting out DLC for it, which is like, maybe finish or fix your game first.
We don't do that anymore, Nick.
Yeah, the game's out. Time for DLC. We need more money.
Wow.
Not until the consumer's given up and they can start charging for patches.
Exactly. Very cyberpunk. But
speaking of, you popped on it. You spent the money, so you get to play it. But there are some other exciting games coming out in February. We're hitting some fairly good titles, fun sounding titles early on. So Forbidden West. The Horizon Zero Dawn.
right on my birthday.
Yes, it does.
Forbidden West was that Van Helsing looking cowboy game we watched.
No, it's the Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a couple days after that, Destiny 2's The Witch Queen. It drops on February 22nd.
Also already thought
And
Witch Queen was
then,
out.
of course, the most anticipated game of the year.
Zelda 2.
Elden Ring, actually. But a good guess with Zelda 2.
I almost said Knack 3.
It was a really good guess. But some other honorable mentions. Lost Ark is going to be dropping February 11th. People in the group here have expressed interest in playing that.
I'm at least going to check it out.
So I think it's going to be February, man. The month of love of gaming.
Also, the next expansion for Path of Exile got pushed back 2 weeks, so it will also be starting in February.
The path is lengthened. Continue your exilement.
Continue your scourging.
So, some fun things to look forward to. Some pretty big titles early on in the year.
If you have a PS4 or PS5.
Yeah.
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 So, going back to the last game we were talking about, can't remember.
The Ascent.
The Ascent, thank you. And looking like Midgar.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy VII launched on PC.
Yeah, I heard.
The remake.
Fun.
To no fanfare. Apparently runs like shit. Poorly optimized. So I take back everything that I said about potentially looking like it was reasonably optimized. It's
shame.
not. It runs like garbage for
They
most
give
people.
you the Rockstar treatment, huh?
Well, the interesting thing is it seems the better your hardware is, the worse it runs. So, yeah, it's one of those weird things where, like, if you have the, medium system requirements somewhere in between minimum and best, then it runs great for you. Anything above that, and it runs like shit for some reason.
So many Final Fantasy ports to PC have just been under garbage.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15 had a rocky start, but they fixed that pretty quickly. Hopefully they do that here with 7. We'll see. At this point, people that have played it or that have wanted to play it have played it. So this is just a little bit extra for the PC crowd. Unfortunately, we get the scraps at the end of the day for some of these titles. On the topic of hardware, this is really
invented a new bone.
This is really dumb news, but speaking of bones, I have a bone to pick. So dumb news is NVIDIA announces a special broadcast for next week. All the anticipation is they're going to announce more graphics cards. So just shitload of more graphics cards that you can't buy. NVIDIA, AMD, they keep doing this. Like, we're coming out with this graphics card, and nobody's going to be able to buy it. So the leaks are that they're going to come out with a 3090 Ti. So you can buy that from a scalper for $8,000.
Yeah. I hope they come out with something like, we've reinvented the game of tennis. Keith was bored the other day, and he rewrote the rules.
Well, thanks for Pong, too.
We know
NVIDIA.
you want graphics cards, but since everyone knows you're not going to fucking get any, we decided to do something important.
I was reading about what it sounds like they're actually doing some kind of neat to where they're taking a lot of the old chips that they have and they're combining them with some of the newer tech that they have.
They've already been doing that, actually.
Right, so we're getting like a 2050, but that's running off of like the 2040s like original chip, but now it's running like the Ampere.
Yeah, so it's a 2060 running Ampere with more GDDR6 instead of GDDR5 or GDDR5X.
And that's the kind of, it sounds to me like they're trying to make do with what parts they have on hand to to get more product in the hands of consumers.
Those parts are being manufactured again, though, is the issue. So they're actually using so TSMC is the manufacturer that NVIDIA goes with for their chips. Other than their RAM, they get that from Samsung or from SK Hynix. All of those factories are like at maximum capacity already, and that's why we can't get modern graphics cards. So what they're doing is they're clogging up the pipeline with more graphics cards, mostly so they can reduce the price. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to circumvent scalpers by not putting out the best mining cards. So graphics cards can get in the hands of people that want them. That doesn't reduce the demand or the price for the graphics cards that people really do want, but that does put the hands in some of the the gamers that are looking to build a system. People that started last year when the new AMD chips came out and they couldn't grab a new graphics card for it, that kind of thing. So it's not that it isn't positive. It just doesn't. It really doesn't do much. It ends up being kind of a wash at the end of the day because
I had assumed that they had like a big backlog of older chips that they didn't need to use anymore, and they're just like, let's just make these into somewhat newer cards. And
unfortunately, no. But what they can do is they can guarantee higher yields for older chips because they already have that fabrication down to a science. Mm-hmm. So whereas the newer chips have lower yield because they're newer. The older chips they already know what yields they're going to be seeing from this. So it does mean potentially more graphics cards out there, just not necessarily the ones people want. Like me particularly, I'm not going to see anything that's an upgrade to my graphics card. Probably it's going to be until the chip shortage and the scalping stops. At the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay scalper prices for what would be an upgrade for me. So we're looking at, potentially at least one more
it sounds exciting
cycle.
For me, though.
Yeah, for you, for sure. For somebody that's got a 970 and could benefit from something like a 1650 or a 1660, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like the sounds of
It's
that.
like 110 more points.
That is.
Absolutely.
Many more
Those
points.
are a lot of computer words.
Yeah.
And I like the way they sound in this case.
AMD is kind of doing the same thing. They're pooping out graphics cards like crazy. But at the end of the day, what they're doing is a little bit different. They're binning their parts. That's the process of taking parts that didn't meet QC results and dropping them down a peg. So disabling some cores, disabling some threads, and making a GPU out of them, out of what would normally be fucking e-waste. So at least there's that. But one thing that AMD is doing to help graphics, especially in a graphics card drought where people aren't able to upgrade, is they're doing Fidelity FX Super Resolution. Thank you. It's the adversary of RTX, so the thing that NVIDIA does. So it's dynamic resolution scaling, super scaling. Okay. So scaling it higher than what your display shows, and then scaling that down to the resolution of your display. So it outputs 4K, but down samples it right.
Okay.
NVIDIA does that in RTX using AI, which is very expensive and is you have to go to NVIDIA for that exclusively. Yeah. AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution is open source and is doing very well, and it's free to put into any engines, which it's currently being enlisted in the more
smart model.
Yeah, it's being implemented into modern engines and upcoming engines like Unreal Engine 5. So we could be seeing real tangible graphic fidelity boost from this technology without having to upgrade hardware, and that's exciting. In a world where you don't see any kind of fucking real optimization from game developers anymore, at least you're seeing it from a community and from AMD.
That's kind of cool.
I saw right before we started casting that somebody just put out a new game engine, and I completely blanked on what it was. So I'll have to look into that.
Is it Daybreak for Arma?
It might have been.
Because Daybreak is putting out a new game engine, and apparently
this one
the next Arma and DayZ are going to be using them.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just learned yesterday that it looks like the DayZ devs are saying that they're going to be putting DayZ as it exists on this better engine, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's
but
okay.
But they are the ones making it. So if anybody can build an engine and then put their existing game from their older engine on the new one, then it's probably the people that make them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
As the most famous review of the game once said, Arma and DayZ are definitely one of the most games this year.
That's absolutely true. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we've got a few more minutes. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Adam's been playing Noita, which is a game that you are a little witch dude, and it's a roguelike, and you make wands and kill yourselves with them when you're trying to make new wands. It's a lot of fun, and he's playing it for the first time, so I'm getting to experience his frustration vicariously. It's like going back through. But if you like roguelikes, I highly recommend it. It's very, very fun. And if you like making combos, the wand system is right there for you to kill yourself until you create a god wand.
Cool.
Combo.
You guys have been playing Apex.
Yeah, I feel like it's the only game I like these days.
I say that about every other week.
I know, dude. Well, like I kind of fall into a thing, and then I really fucking like it, and I play it a lot.
It just amuses me your definition of these days. Do you have like a 2-week memory?
This guy that's had a gaming PC for all of like 2.5 months now is like, I just like one game.
It's just
I like this one. I'm finally starting to improve though, winning certain matches, not like a full match, but arenas. And you got to start somewhere.
Are you still like full butt pucker mode every time you see a guy coming around a corner?
No. I shoot a lot at them or near them.
That's good.
Honestly, what I started doing is when they come around the corner, I just picture Andy. And then I just start fucking nailing them right down the fucking, right down the barrel.
Okay.
That makes sense. Well, that's what he does to me in every other game. He just kills the shit out of me.
I have a gift
even friendly games.
I have a gift for shooting Andy in games. So if I just pretend it says Oleander above their name.
You've been playing Lola? What's her name?
Loba. Yes. She has some cool powers. I like that you can just grab some items and up your ammo with her black market. And
so you can convert items into ammo. Is that what that does?
No, just like in this like little circle area on the map, you're just able to pull ammo from wherever it is on the map, and you're able to pull.
She has
items.
an ability. It's called Black Market. Mm-hmm. You put it down, it creates a zone, and all items that are in that zone can be accessed from that Black Market center.
Gotcha.
But you can only take 2 items, or in addition to any ammo. You can fill up on as much ammo as is in the zone, but as far as like gun attachments, weapons, shields, you can only take 2 items.
Okay.
And if you do not collapse the Black Market, it's accessible by anybody, including enemy teams. So you usually want to break it back down when you're done, so you're not letting other people use it.
Now, something that was pretty neat, I recently discovered, is that you can drop it near the vault, which has like a whole bunch of generally a whole bunch of neat stuff, gold items, purple, all the good stuff.
The map, World's Edge, has 3 zones in it, 2 zones in it that are 3 that are locked behind a door that requires a access code to get into, and it has all tier 3 and higher loot inside of it.
Okay. And you can black market that?
Yeah, but Loba has the ability to pull an item out of there. Only one.
She can pull one item. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can. Only Loba. And when you do, it sets off an alarm.
Yeah. But it's still pretty cool. And then her other thing is her jump gate. She throws a bracelet and can teleport to like any point as it's like traveling in its arc. And you can just drop down somewhere.
That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. I have misjudged a few of those jumps.
Most of them.
I like hit like a solid 35% of them these days, which is up from the -2.
It's actually been it started off a little frustrating because they're so new, and the game is complex. Like I've been playing it so long, I forget about that. But now it's been enjoyable seeing Josh's like skill and enjoyment, raise up as we keep playing together.
Josh is a good game sponge. If you give him time and effort and
soak it in a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm already used to losing all the time anyway, so it's not like
I feel you there. I re-downloaded Apex thinking like I was pretty decent when I quit playing. My KD is 0.5.
0.5.
I don't even know if on Xbox I've ever raised my KD out of a sub 1 KD ratio from that first 6 to 8 months playing the game.
Yeah.
There was a period in time I was telling Josh about, the first couple months playing that game, I didn't realize that you didn't get kills if all you did was knock a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because they can be picked back up by their teammates. And so in my head, I'm like, I'm doing okay. My KD ratio should be great. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's not counting any of those because we got our whole team died and their one remaining guy just went and picked up the other 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a Bangalore main, so I was really good at knocking people and not killing them from my old
Yep. So now Josh went and spent money on the free-to-play game, which is probably a good idea because they offer up what they call this Champions Bundle, which will give you.
It was on sale.
It
was on.
The value.
Never
is
heard
good.
that one before.
It was a circus of value. It was like a $40 thing normally.
And picturing the clown makeup application.
And I picked it up for $27. It was great, and not only that,
picked up a cosmetic DLC for $27.
It's not cosmetic.
It unlocks characters, like 9 of them.
All of the characters.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
it unlocked a lot of characters.
Pack. Okay.
Yeah. It comes with some cosmetics, and it comes with some of their faux money.
Do you get all the characters plus all feature characters?
No, he doesn't even get all the characters.
I didn't even get all the characters.
The 3 newest ones aren't in that bundle.
So I looked at it, I got I think 7 characters, and they're like $6 a pop. Just straight up. You're going to be paying $6.50 per character. So it was less than that, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was tired of playing with
I totally get it.
With those 4 guys, I had one that I really, really liked, and it's fucking everybody.
I forgot that
still unlock characters.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So the game's free to play. You start off, I think, with 6 characters. As you level up, just by playing the game through experience, you get a fake money called legend tokens. Now that's different than Apex coins. Apex coins are the ones that you buy with real money. So you can unlock characters with real money using Apex tokens, which I think is around 6,500 or 7,500 tokens, which is about $6-7 per. Or you can spend 12,500 legend tokens and unlock a character. Now there are, I think, roughly, I want to say 16 characters. So there's 10 additional characters in the game, and I'm guessing. I'm not going to think about it too hard.
Yeah.
I just switched over to playing PC, and I have reached level 33, and I've had enough legend tokens to unlock 1 new legend.
Gross.
It's really slow. And what's really gross about all that is actually they've substantially reduced the amount of legend tokens that you receive since the game came out. On the Xbox, I have all characters unlocked. I have not paid real money for any of them.
When we were playing when the game was first coming out, it wouldn't take more than a few days to unlock the new character as they came out.
Right, yes, the new character. But now there's more new characters than there are original characters. So imagine
I'm just
having none.
to make it sound like they're a lot more expensive, or at least the resources are rare.
That's what I was going to say. So after I've never paid for a character other than using legend tokens that I've unlocked. And on my Xbox, I still have 250,000 legend tokens. And I've unlocked. Now all you use them for is that sometimes a recolor of an existing skin will pop up in the store. And if you own that, the legendary version of it, then you can unlock the recolor with the legend tokens. But that's the only other place to spend them. And it's very noticeable switching over to the PC with Josh, just seeing how slow they trickle out those fucking legend tokens now.
Make their money. But, you can knock it for a million things, but Smite, you pay $30, you get over 100 gods, every single god available, and every god they ever will release in the future. It's just a one-time purchase, you get every character, and there's 120 of them.
That is pretty good.
So
anytime I think you're charging or pay gating in some way characters that aren't the fresh fucking new hotness, I think it's a little shitty. Just Let people play it. If people want to play it earlier before they unlock the tokens for it, then whatever. Because literally every player that's been playing since the game launched will probably never have to worry about buying a character in that game.
Yeah, because
even if
they
slowed
got
it
in
down,
early.
yeah, they're going to be earning them faster than they release
Sitting
new
on
characters.
a stack of legend tokens.
Yeah, unless you're dumb and went. I think you can also spend them on re-rolling your daily challenges.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, which is a horrible waste of those tokens. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, they got me. They got me.
Yeah, no, I don't think they got you. I think that's what you bought was a reasonable purchase.
Yeah.
In the crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
Like you got a good deal. You should be happy you got a good deal.
And not only that, I got enough of their faux money that I got their battle pass.
Yeah.
And
That's nice.
now I'm already halfway to the next battle pass, and I've gotten a lot more cool stuff.
If you do not spend any of the Apex tokens that come out of the battle pass, you will not have to buy another battle pass because you'll have enough to just buy them with coins next round, which I think is the bare minimum system that should exist for battle passes.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Now, I would say, I'm going to jump in real quick.
Real quick, because we got to go to break.
Okay,
we're way over time.
Battle passes, if they have really like a ton of content and the content's really good, I'm not opposed to making somebody buy that every new season. But if your battle passes are kind of mediocre and they're not that great, then you should have a free way to unlock those. That's it.
Down with mediocre battle passes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No MVPs.
All right, well, we got to go to break. Real quick before going to break, let's pour one out for John Madden. Passed away this week.
Hey,
30 years of video games and a long career in the NFL.
Yep.
he finally has an actually dirty jersey.
So yeah, we're going to break. We'll be right back.
All right, so it's been a delay for my podcast segment of choices, and I imagine that the anticipation has not increased its quality particularly much.
Frothing. I am ready.
Well, I forgot what the splash screen was, so we'll just... There we go. It's a boy! Welcome to the world. Each of us is going to pick two characters, and through some miracle, they've reproduced. You are the bouncing baby boy. You get to enjoy your inheritance. So you get to pick two of these characters. The combination of their things will be your suite of functions.
So these are my fathers.
These are your fathers. Enjoy them. We'll start off with Abe from Oddworld. He has the lovely ability of make friends by farting. He just farts next to...
And we inherit
That's the opposite of my power that I
It
currently
is.
have.
Yeah, so an improvement. Unfortunately, they are highly flammable. I've died many a times to an Abe fart. Aquaman from Injustice there. You can talk to sea creatures. That's a thing.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have that now, so it's an improvement. Non-functional gills. You get the gills from Aquaman, but they don't work. I'm sorry.
He's got slits that dry out, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Classic Boogerman.
Yep.
Boogerman himself. You're going to use mucus as a weapon, but you're also using your mucus as a weapon.
Yep.
So,
Double-edged sword, that
22
one.
there.
The phlegm.
Kirby's over here with this. You get inherited Kirby's puffy float fly. You can kind of puff up and flap around and stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it comes with the predisposition to cannibalism.
Yeah.
He does
Minorly illegal.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you are a cannibal, but you got to fight the urge.
Fight that urge. Okay.
Mario gives you that ability to spit fireballs, keeping in mind that Mario fireballs aren't super fantastic. They just kind of and they just kind of bounce across the ground. And then you have an obsession with rescuing priestesses. Priestesses? No.
Priestesses?
A character many people aren't super familiar with is Plock, Super Nintendo character. He can throw all of his limbs. Now, when you throw all four of your limbs, you're just a torso, so you'll just hit the ground and fall down.
Yeah, you block.
And his primary villain is actually fleas, so you have a hereditary flea problem.
Okay.
Can you get frontline?
I mean, I suppose
It's
you
a
could.
temporary measure.
It's every 3 months, so you got to strap a new collar on. Sam Strand making a reoccurrence in our lineup from Death Stranding. I will allow any one power that he is listed as having, and it is extensive. We're probably going to have to bring up a list of all the things that he's accredited with. But his downside is that you will inherit his allergic reaction to being touched.
Okay.
So that's like a pretty big downside to what could be a very huge upside. He's
Okay.
got some crazy abilities. Pac-Man, you can eat anything. No biggie. But you're prone to addiction.
Okay.
Substantially prone to addiction. Thanks, Dad. Spider-Man, you can shoot webs, which is super awesome.
Not all versions of Spider-Man can shoot webs.
This one can.
Okay.
This is Spider-Man. You get to shoot fucking webs out of your hands. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, you have no other Spider-Man abilities, which means you have no super strength. You have no super reflexes.
I was gonna say a good
So I'm just
downside to
blasting
this.
sticky jizz out of my hands at people?
I mean, if you're strong enough and stuff, you could theoretically swing on it.
You ever
and
wanted to
shit,
get
but that's-
something without getting up from the chair?
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Now your house will be covered with discarded strands of Spider-Man rope.
I couldn't get over the mental image
Throwing spider rope
of
here.
coming around a corner downtown and seeing a torso dude wearing a fucking choker. Just, hey, have you seen my arms? Why are you wearing a collar?
Okay, I got my initial first leaning is I'm going with Kirby. I'm going with Spider-Man because with their abilities, I can pretend to be an actual superhero.
That's a good combination.
Do you look like that when you Kirby fly?
No, you look like yourself.
He's not going to like.
You do have to
inflate.
expand yourself a bit, so you do puff up.
I'm fine with that.
Puffy float fly.
Yeah, you
You're
definitely
gonna
have
get
to.
shot.
You're definitely gonna get shot at. At the very.
That's
least.
all right. I'm gonna suck in a rock, and I'm gonna just. It's like, it'll be fine. It'll
You
be fine.
get the puffy float fly. You don't get the
Absorption.
transmogrification
Yeah.
abilities.
That's
all you get is puffy float fly. So, I would like to know Sam Strand's powers.
Yes. There's a
Yeah.
Tell us the top 10. And by I just
I'm
like,
not going to give you a top 10.
No,
'cause,
there's a list. Just read the first 10 and we'll call that good.
Superhuman physical characteristics.
Three noses.
well, his
Okay.
ability
He's
to carry
Captain
all the stuff
America.
that he carries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enhanced senses.
Okay.
Extrasensory perception and information
You can
analysis.
smell the ghost future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can sense beached things.
It's a whale, guys.
That's a thing.
That's Aquaman's powers.
Limited psychometry. Which means you can discern how far necrosis has progressed in a covered corpse.
Psychometry is a thing, and
I just explained it.
Yeah, he did.
You can discern how far necrosis has progressed in a covered corpse.
so it's reading the history of an object.
But his specifically is knowing necrosis in an
And-
object.
Yeah.
Necrosis being how much something's rotted.
Yep. Breaking the fourth wall.
Oh man, I think I'm sold.
Weapon mastery. Martial arts. Mid-air jump. Stealth mastery. Holographic projection. Camouflage. Technological preparation. Hacking. Amplification.
I can be Y2K
Land vehicle
prepared.
mastery. Immortality. Resurrection. Soul manipulation. Astral projection. Self-destruction. Blood manipulation.
Nope, I'm changing my answer.
Drink as many Monster
It's
energy
Abe in
drinks.
Super Mario.
Durability negotiation.
You're gonna blow yourself up.
Yeah, you're gonna blow yourself up, bro.
You know how much you fart in your sleep?
You're gonna burp, and a fireball's gonna pop out, and you're gonna fart, and that's the end of Josh.
Mind freak.
He says with third-degree burns.
Acausality.
He can break the time loop.
I'm not
Summoning.
kidding. When I went and looked up, what a Sam Strand's like a power suite is, I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
he literally does like everything.
Explosion manipulation. Homing attack. Electricity manipulation. Status effect inducement. Smoke
Can it do
manipulation.
status effects?
Sleep inducement.
I can
Poison
piss people
manipulation. Madness manipulation. Radiation manipulation. Thread manipulation. Force field creation.
If we slow down a bit, a lot of these just seem like things you can do, like radiation manipulation. I own a flashlight. Poison manipulation, like I put poop in people's mouths.
Some of them are fancy terms for fairly generic
Yeah.
abilities,
Okay.
but not all of them are.
yeah.
Extreme cold is listed as one of his superpowers.
He has no
not
empathy.
kidding.
But I think I really think his downside would be a hard sell on any of those, at least for
Yeah,
me.
not being able to be touched.
Chat brought up an interesting point. You pick Booger Man's power, and you just secrete mucus all over yourself, and you can touch whatever you want. or whoever you want.
Ooh.
Get a
thin film.
Anybody gonna
touching
want to
you.
be touched?
No, well, if you, depending on your power, it's not their choice anymore.
You've already
Joshua.
Mucus.
ESP, blow me. Oh, slobbery snot BJ.
I mean,
Here's what I want.
Gross.
I
so
think
you're a super villain. I mean,
in an effort to further mankind, I will take his power to break the fourth wall, same strand, and Pac-Man's ability to eat anything, and I will consume God.
If it can fit in your mouth.
He can eat anything.
If it could fit in his mouth. He can't
He can eat anything.
Right, but it
That's
doesn't
what
say
it
that
says.
he can't transmorg his mouth into some gaping hole.
I can break the fourth wall. I'll redraw my mouth.
That's a strand power.
Fair enough.
I like it. I like it.
Josh is Nick has consumed God.
I just break through the fucking back rooms. What the fuck is malaria, God? And start chewing down. I can eat the fourth
Eat
wall.
the fourth wall.
Everybody can talk to God.
Okay, so I still want Abe.
You're really sold on making friends by farting, aren't you?
Yes,
You make friends all the time normally now.
but
But
with my new flammable farts, I'm going to be replacing fuel companies. I'm going to be an oil
How
man.
much do you...
I'm an oil
I
man.
don't think
I'm going to be a fuel man.
you have underpredicted America's consumption of natural gas.
Yes.
Or overestimated your ability to eat burritos.
So you're gonna have to take Pac-Man and Abe. So yes, you can have unlimited farting potential.
Admittedly, Abe does have unlimited farting potential. He can literally just fart on command whenever.
But he has a
Yeah.
bandwidth. He has a throughput. There's only so much fart per moment he can fart.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
That is true. I don't know what the density of his cloud is.
We need to know his FPS.
Yeah, farts per second.
or the potency of.
Here's mine. I'm taking Abe, so I can just have unlimited farting.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take Aquaman, simply so I can fart on sea creatures and ask them, "How do you like that? How's that for you? You like that?"
Yes.
And they just look at me
Thank
and
you,
go,
sir.
I
I'll
have
have
a
another.
shellfish. I have 3 neurons.
Turns out they all love it because my
Probably.
farts make friends. So
They eat rotten corpses. Those are the friends that you make. Now, use mucus as weapons, like his ability, or like where does that line draw? Like, given a few months, can I conjure up a sticky ICBM and start my own country?
who is Boogerman?
Yeah.
His is, I think he uses his own mucus as like projectile weapons.
Yes.
Okay. Would
It's
I
not
need
rockets.
a concealed carry permit?
I don't think
Or
so.
do I have to flare my nostrils everywhere I go?
No one would know
Yeah.
until you use them, and then in which case you'd kill them.
I keep liking the idea of being able to throw my limbs, but I would lose them. I would literally turn around one day and forget where my
Dude.
left arm is.
Now
I
they do
figured
come
it
back
out.
to you. They're like little boomerangs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if you, like I said, if you throw all 4 of them quickly, then you just torso to the ground,
Right on your testicles.
right onto your testicles. Yeah,
Yowza.
always gotta make sure you throw 3 and then wait.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be Spider-Man and block. I'm gonna throw my arm and start thwipping wildly in the air. Just
Look at this party trick.
yeah, dude. Oh, can't reach with my webs. Yeet.
You can just web the ceiling and then walk away, leaving your arm hanging there.
Yeah, or I could be walking on the side of the wall and then just plop down with my legs left over on the wall. It's a fun party trick.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
And Goose is correct.
Yeah.
If they don't come back to you, they get stuck. They'll be on a floating coat hanger.
Beautiful.
All right.
It's a weird game, by the way.
I vaguely remember it.
At some point, you can find these mystery packages, and you turn into like a cosplay of Plock in some sort of outfit. And the only one I particularly remember is like you get like a Scottish flap hat and like a black powder musket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think the ability to spit fireballs seems neat, but there's such limited utility there unless the fireballs themselves are worthy of scientific study. Like, how hot are they? Am I throwing a briquette, or am I throwing molten, like, titanium?
I'm not sure. You assume it's got to be a pretty sustainable flame for it to bounce across objects and stay like lit.
The bouncing implies it's got some kind of solid.
It's a hot ass
core,
chunk
yeah.
of magnesium.
Oh, well, good Lord. Okay.
You do want that out of your body. It's not
Yep.
good for you. So
you're always spitting fire.
And Chat was talking about like having an obsession with rescuing princesses isn't that big of a deal because there's not too many of them. Well, there are still princesses, and the problem is if there aren't any around you, you're gonna have an obsession over something that you can't do anything about, and that's a recipe for mental issues.
And to be fair though, chat did say that they're not out there needing resus.
What?
Resuscitation? Like a
Rescue.
what?
Resus.
Like the monkey?
he's 'cause
Resus.
I'm lost. I am completely lost. I need one of Sam Strand's
just a
locations.
It's spelling. It's a typo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Resus.
I mean, barring some of the ridiculous Sam Strand abilities, I think his grocery list is pretty applicable. But again, not being able to be touched by anyone. Well, what is allergic reaction? Are we talking hives or like bone necrosis?
For him, I believe it's like extremely painful, and he like bruises, like a bruise will spread out across his body.
Okay, what about
I'm not for sure though. I don't
what about
remember.
Aquaman and Booger Man, but you make your own mucus air bubble to
It has to be offensive. It has to hurt. It's a weapon.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I mean,
you
you
could
can
turn
make like
yourself into a torpedo.
Could you make a giant like booger Katamari Damacy ball?
There you go. I'm
Roll
trying
up the
to kill
world in
you.
your boogers.
Or Booger Man and Spider Man, you just make a lot of gross stuff.
Yeah, dude. That's kind of how I was starting.
You could definitely make a living off that.
Yeah.
I honestly think eating anything, Pac-Man is the best. Most people are already kind of prone to addiction.
That is true.
Like, it's kind of a normal life, but I could eat anything I want.
Now, would that imply though that you are even more susceptible than the normal person to addiction?
Yeah, I'm probably fucked, but I can eat anything. That's a great party trick. It's like I wouldn't have a trash bill, right? Just eat all the trash.
Chat points out that Sam Strand's illness is actually entirely mental.
Sure, but I mean, if you have mentally convinced yourself that you experience pain when being touched, that pain still exists.
Yeah, you get a really good psychologist, psychiatrist. That one.
I think Pac-Man and being able to talk to sea creatures, I think you could get a really good job in the military with that, because you could convince them to do like scouting ops.
I mean,
They're
so should Kirby,
fucking
but
gills.
probably.
Yeah, you're just gonna get shot though. You're a giant pufferfish, dude, floating through the air.
Now, what if your non-functional gills are like the Aquaman from The Boys on Amazon Prime, where it's like along your rib cage?
I mean, unless I could hide them, then
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
that's
they're
true.
bigger,
it sucked.
and gills are gross.
They are gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, most things about being human are gross. We're just used to it because we're human.
True.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pac-Man and surprisingly Aquaman.
Well, there are no other Kirbys, right?
Hmm?
Well, there's Meta Knight Kirby, or Meta Knight. He's not Kirby, but I guess he's a.
I mean, Kirby
Kirby-esque.
is himself. He is his own cosmic horror.
Well, I just mean like you're the human offspring of a Kirby and something else. So the only things that you have other consume around you are like other humans, right? I guess, I don't know. Chat's saying that Kirby shouldn't have a predisposition to cannibalism, which is, that's fair. You can make an argument to say that he doesn't.
I mean, we could headcanon that he is the last Kirby because he ate all the other fucking Kirbys.
That's headcanon now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you
Actually,
become
that's-
a Kirby.
That's just canon.
Goddamn powerful.
Hear that, Nintendo? It's canon.
Yep.
The last Kirby on Earth is the next Kirby game. It's a prequel to find out how Kirby was made.
Kerbonk.
He's succumbed to his cannibalism, and the last thing he eats is his daughter and or son.
No, it's when a Jigglypuff goes full Karen and it becomes a Kirby.
Loses all its hair.
From raging at a barista. Just Puffy floats away.
Just pulls her right in.
So anyways, it was a fun one. Nothing crazy. I
is
was just mostly trying to pick non-good abilities to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like
I
ones
love
that are
it.
like somewhat interesting.
Yeah. I had fun with mine. Spider-Man and Block, like, whip a web over there and my arm flies off to,
Slap a bitch.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bring it around town.
Imagine what you could do with web. There's so much.
I couldn't be bothered to clean it.
Yeah, that would be rough.
be a
but,
lot of
That's something that they never really addressed in Spider-Man is like the cleanup.
Spider-Man and Pac-Man, you just eat it.
I think in one of the
Eat your own.
Waka, 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 waka.
I mean, does it have nutritional value? Because then you're just making your own food.
imagine trying to chew spider web.
Oh.
Like that's like banana peel, but worse.
Oh, you stop chewing your nails and you start chewing your fucking web.
Oh man,
Just so sucking it out of your wrist.
Ew.
you guys ever taken like a good chew of a banana peel?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the worst.
it's gross.
They disintegrate after a few hours, but they've got to leave like dust behind.
Yeah, dude, like
Someone walk into my house, be like, "It's fucking Sahara in here. What's going on?"
silly string, how it becomes this
yeah.
desiccated husk of silly string. I imagine that's what it's like, and it always leaves a little bit of a film.
Flaccid spider rope.
You could rent out yourself for Halloween and make giant spider webs.
Yeah,
That is true.
I mean, there's money to be made with all of these, right?
Yes. Yeah. You could monetize damn near anything.
Yeah.
For the very least, it's a freak
How
show.
effective is making friends by farting? Like, is this like mental compulsion?
Yes.
I mean, as far as I know, you fart next to. I guess
You could become a
technically,
really fucking good spy.
They do have to be of your own race, so you can't befriend animals. I don't think.
I don't give a shit about water buffalo. I mean, if I could like go befriend world leaders by fucking crop dusting them.
I think that's
a good power.
Kona mentioned you fucking fly over a city and just mind control them by crop dusting the.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, as Abe and Kirby.
what's the density requirement of like cubic volume of fart that the fart power applies
You know,
to?
weirdly enough, not addressed in the video game. They don't get into that.
Yeah,
Need to do a deep dive.
Oddworld's missing some science.
Yeah, the fan base has been pretty upset about that since like 1992 when they came.
When the second one came out and there was the huge split, the diasporic fart audience.
They were quite enraged that they didn't expand the canon deep enough.
I bet Neil deGrasse Tyson knows how much fart would be required.
For friendship?
Yep.
Yeah, what's the ppm of flatulence?
The fart to friend ratio.
True, it is secondary propulsion.
Again, depends on the throughput. How much gas is coming out of your backside?
I mean, there has to be enough coming out that it causes explosions and you can die from it, right? So
Yeah. Or does he just die because it explodes in his colon?
even so, that's
a
that's a
backdraft?
measurable
Yeah.
amount.
Oh God! Oh, anal backdraft. Oh no!
Wasn't that your nickname in high school?
No, it was mine,
Anal
actually.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm going to settle on Pac-Man and either... I can't do Sam Strand. Can't not touch people. I have to go Aquaman.
Aquaman's your backup just to talk to sea creatures? You know they're just going to be pissed all the time.
Yeah,
I
dude.
don't want a flea problem, and I'd lose my limbs. I don't know what the fuck I'd do spinning fireballs. It'd probably cause too much property damage. If I start flying around, I'm going to get shot by a redneck.
Well, to be fair, you
Sasquatch.
don't have to do those things.
Well, then why have the power, right? Emergency puffy float away. Yeah, not bad.
I mean,
The
yeah.
predisposition to cannibalism terrifies me, right?
I mean, you already walked that line as it is. Don't need to.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. I mean, Boogerman's nice because, like, when in doubt, fling it out, right? Like,
Yep.
I don't have to worry about being unarmed.
Theoretically, too, you have great control over your own mucus, which means, like, do you ever get runny noses or anything like that? Because you just
That's a
be like,
good
no.
point.
I have
But then you'd
bodily-
be, like, mindlessly watching your phone and, like, you need to pick your nose and you accidentally, like, kill the neighbor's dog.
just flick one out
Yeah.
the window and
Just goes right through it.
whoops.
Yeah.
Yowza.
Highly flammable flatulence is just too dangerous. I'd end up I've got a gas stove at home,
Yeah.
right? And I don't, even if they dissolved after a couple hours, as cool as his webs are, I don't know.
I'm already throwing rope around my room all the time anyway, so it's like, it's not that big of a deal.
And if you combine Kirby and Pac-Man, you're already just kind of like regular Kirby, but now you're much likely to get addicted to pills. And eat
Yeah.
people.
Addicted to eating people, yeah. Oh, man.
Get to keep my same physique, though.
Yeah, chat does point out you could encapsulate a friend fart within a mucus bubble as
Oh,
Booger
God,
Man
dude.
Oh.
and mail it to people.
I just got the visual of that, though. Like, picking your nose, rubbing it on your butthole, and then
Blowing
farting
a
into
bubble.
it.
I imagine your mucus ends up being like one of those like little gack tubes of like slime, and you're like trying to shape it out into a balloon so you can fart into
Oh, man.
It's like runny chewing gum.
it. Oof.
That's disgusting.
Yuck.
Which is why it's also the negative.
Yeah. What are you going with, Josh?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Kirby. I'm gonna do Spider-Man so I can pretend to be a real hero.
Seems legit.
Because I can swing from high places and just be like, burp, burp, burp. Oh, see, I'm doing it. Burp, burp,
Run
burp.
away from your crime scenes.
Yes, exactly.
Leftover toes you forgot to eat. What are you doing, Russ?
Oh, I told you I'm going to fart on sea creatures.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's right.
Just walks into a pet store and just right into the goldfish thing. You like that? We're friends now.
Exactly.
You like that? We're friends now. I do not consent.
I am going to befriend a swarm of fucking killer whales.
Oh, that is a little terrifying.
Oh, man.
What if they don't like what you have to say?
Could
could
you
just fart on
theoretically
'em.
breathe if you sucked air out of a blowhole?
It depends on how much oxygen they used from the air.
Yeah.
That's their exit.
I don't know what.
I mean,
Yeah, but nobody uses all the oxygen, right?
No, but
Is it enough to sustain you?
I mean, you can breathe one breath of just about anything.
of course, they're also going to eject it very forcefully into your lungs and probably erupt.
Not if they're my
blow 'em
friend.
up.
My friend will be like, "Hey, man, exhale slowly so I can
Just
suck your blowhole."
Are you talking like a bubble underwater?
Like I'm underwater with a killer whale, and
You would need
I'm-
some kind of bowl to hold over the blowhole for the air to fill into.
Why?
Otherwise-
No, he's
because
got
it
his
would go
mouth on the
right
blowhole.
I'm
past-
just gonna put my mouth on the blowhole.
Oh, the blowholes are like this fucking big around. You
no,
can't put-
they're not.
Have you seen a whale?
It's a killer whale, first of all, which is nowhere
Okay.
near as large as the massive gaping back cloaca.
Killer whales.
How
do
big
they have
are killer
blowholes?
whale
20
blowholes?
feet long.
All whales have blowholes, bro. It's like the size of like a fucking Oreo cookie.
I've got to check werewolffacts.com.
Yeah, well, we'll have to look into the diameter of blowholes. Average diameter
like-
of
Hey, Mr. Whale Friend,
station.
breathe out slowly so I can suck your
Blowholes.
blowhole.
50 centimeters.
Holy fuck!
What?
Yeah. Sorry, that's for a blue whale.
Yeah.
Okay,
Once again,
Well, how big is? Okay, so that's almost 20 inches. Killer whale.
I mean, that's almost better. I can just stick my head in there, right?
Yeah.
it's gonna blow your eyeballs out of your fucking skull.
I said exhale slowly.
Dude, it's all relative, dude. What is slow to a killer whale?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll test with watermelon.
We will post this on werewolfwienerfacts.com.
No,
You
it's
can
just
check it out later.
werewolfwieners.com.
Yes.
That is the name of our OnlyFans page.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's just wolf wieners.
Wolf Wieners.
Shit.
I don't like it just being Wolf Wieners. It's too direct. Werewolf Wieners has a level of facade that like you can get away with it ironically.
We're just trying to be inclusive of the furry crowd.
We're just saying dog penis.
Dogs.
I don't think people want to go to that website.
Oh man, furryboyredrocket.com.
That was a good one. I liked it.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
The grid.
Oh, okay.
Not whatever bestiality shit you're talking about.
Okay, I was a little confused there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, dolphins take 0.3 seconds to exhale and inhale.
Damn, that seems fast.
Like combined?
It's going to pop my lungs.
Yeah. You're going to be Kirby whether you like it or not.
Forceful Kirby.
Chat, podcast, listeners, everyone whose earballs are vibrating at this frequency, if you have any ideas for our Gridley Doodle Bops, let us know. We can come up with them. Solid B+ on average.
Yes.
But it would be nice to get some input.
I'm disappointed with the internet's lack of information on the size of blowholes.
Yeah, me too. I was having a hard time finding it.
You got to look for scientific articles. I mean, you got to use fancy words. I was trying to see like change in cetacean blowhole diameter over decades. Let's see what.
I feel like blowhole is probably not the scientific word for their exhalation hole.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the nasal passage.
Oh.
So it's a nostril?
It's also called a spiracle, which it technically is a spiracle, kind of. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially a nostril.
Yeah.
Size of whale nostril, orca.
So you're getting whale mucus. You're already Booger Man.
I mean,
You're becoming Booger Man anyway.
Yeah.
don't we make perfume out of their like vomit?
Ambergris. It's, yeah.
I think that's sperm whales specifically.
It's not baby back whales.
No, I'm afraid not. Those went extinct a few years ago.
We got them good ribs.
We do need to wrap it up, though.
Let's wrap it.
Yeah, so just want to let you guys know that are watching live, we are going to be taking a break soon. You'll get us next week, but the 12th and the 19th, which we would normally have scheduled podcasts, we will be absent that week. Not to say there won't be live content, but we will not be doing a podcast. The reasoning is we want to spruce it up a bit. I also want to get away from using Streamlabs OBS and start using OBS Studio because the guys over at Streamlabs suck. So don't want to support them anymore. Going to be doing everything more above board. So yeah, just want to let you guys know that. Any last thoughts from you, gentlemen?
I need to know the varying sizes of blowholes and whales.
Same.
So email me if you have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Email Russ at videogametango.com.
Send Russ pictures of uncensored blowholes.
With rulers next to them.
Every blowhole that you can find. Russ at videogametango.com.